Alright, if you found this video, that probably means you're dyslexic, right? And you probably heard that your brain isn't smart as everyone else's because you can't spell and maybe you have a hard time finding where you're supposed to go when you're driving.
Look, your brain is not less intelligent than other people's brains. Your dyslexic brain has huge advantages over normal brains. The genius of your brain is in the way it's wired. Hi guys, welcome to Hack ADHD and Dyslexia. This series is all about hacking our ADHD and dyslexia to take advantage of our cognitive gifts. Today I want to talk to you guys about the neuroanatomy of a dyslexic brain, what the brain of a dyslexic looks like, and how that difference creates a special type of intelligence.
Dyslexic brains have huge cognitive advantages over normal brains. In fact, some of the most intelligent, brilliant people in the world are dyslexic. Steve Jobs is dyslexic. Einstein was dyslexic. Leonardo da Vinci, probably the most preeminent genius in the history of humanity, was a dyslexic, right? And in this video, we're going to be checking out how the dyslexic brain differs from a normal brain and how that difference creates incredible cognitive gifts that we can take advantage of as a dyslexic. Look, this topic is super important. So I spent the last couple days writing a script because I wanted to make sure that I got the science 100% right on this, right? But looking at it now, it's pretty academic, and I want to try to reach as many people as possible. So even if you're a middle school kid or a kid just in high school, I want to be able to share this message with you guys. So I'm going to throw the script out, and I'm going to try to explain this as if you were a student in my 7th grade science class. And if you want more information, if you want more specific or in detailed information, I can make another video just for those people that want the exact science behind all this. All right, this is a neuron. A neuron is a type of cell that can connect with other neurons. Connected neurons can talk to each other using electrochemical signals. By connecting and talking in very specific ways, these neurons work together to process information. Your brain is made up of over 100 billion neurons. And there are over 100 trillion connections between neurons, so that's a lot of different communication that's happening. This is your brain. Okay, it's not really a brain, but it's a cabbage, but let's use it as a representation of a brain, right? Different parts of our brain do different things. They can process different types of information. Some parts of the brain can process information about our sight. Other parts of our brain can process information about emotions. Other parts of our brain can process information about memory. So different parts of this brain has different things it's good at doing. And that's due to the way the neurons are connected to each other, the specific ways, and then the types of electrochemical signals that they're using. So that's your brain, and different parts can do different things.
There's a thin layer of cells that coat the surface of the brain. This layer of cells is called the cerebral cortex because they give rise to some of our higher cognitive functions such as memory, language, problem solving, attention, conscious awareness, things like that. The cells in our cerebral cortex is organized into these functional units called mini columns. So these mini columns are kind of like computer chips. They can process a certain amount of information by themselves, but they work really, really well when they are able to connect with other mini columns around them. Just like how computers can network with each other to process lots of data. The same type of thing happens in our cells through these mini columns. Now, the distribution of these mini columns in a given population is such that some people have a high density, other people have a low density, but most people have a medium density or medium number of mini columns. Now, there's something really interesting that happens to people that have lots of mini columns is that the mini columns that they do have tend to be thinner and shorter, while the people on the other spectrum, people that have a low density of these mini columns tend to have thicker and they tend to have longer mini columns. This becomes really important on how these two different types of brains process information. So the people with a high density of mini columns, now those people with the shorter and thinner mini columns, they need to process information. Those mini columns can make connections with their neighbors because they're not long, right? They're short, so they can only make connections with the other mini columns around them. but it's such a high density that they'll be able to easily find some neighbors to make those connections with. It'll be less energy consuming. So on the other side of that spectrum are people that have less dense mini columns, right? So that means that their mini columns are spaced much further apart. Now these people also have longer mini columns, which means that when they make connections with their neighbors, they're actually connecting to different parts of their brain. Now this tendency for mini columns to either make connections with their neighbors around them or to connect with other mini columns long distances away has an enormous impact on how information's being processed. Now, people with the shorter, more dense mini columns, they're really good at fine detail processing. They're really good at sorting and distinguishing between closely related things. They're really good at extracting information from a specific object or a concept. The brains that are wired with these shorter mini columns are highly skilled at detailed oriented tasks. Now, on the other side of that spectrum, brains that make longer circuits, these brains are weaker at fine detail oriented skills, but they're really good at big picture tasks, right? Examples of these big picture tasks would include things like synthesizing the meaning from a concept, relationships between concepts and objects and ideas, making unusual but insightful connection between seemingly unrelated things. These long distance circuits are really good at problem solving, especially when the problems are new or can't be predicted, when the problems themselves are dynamic. Although these long distance circuits are more energy consuming and less efficient, they're really good at coming up with creative and new ways to do things. These types of circuits are designed for creativity and innovation. See, what happens is when the short mini column brains come up with a solution, that solution is usually very localized to a specific brain area. So only one part of their brain is processing that information and then coming up with a solution. But when a long distance circuit comes up with a solution, that solution came from different parts of the brain. So the circuit involved some memory, maybe some emotions, maybe some sight, maybe some hearing, maybe some logic. All these different parts of the brains contributed to that solution. So the solution is going to be more dynamic. It's going to be less formulaic. So most people have a regular or normal amount of mini columns in their cerebral cortex. But the extremes are what is really interesting. People with high density of mini columns and the people with lower density of mini columns. The brains that make the long distance circuits, because they have a low density of mini columns in their cerebral cortex, are brains that are dyslexic. The brains that make those shorter distance circuits and have the smaller mini columns, but a lot of them, a high density of them, are autistic brains. There are 4 major strengths or cognitive powers that dyslexic people have over normal people. I'm gonna make another video that covers all 4 of these, but I'm gonna just give you a quick overview right now. If you wanna learn more about this and you don't wanna wait for the video, check out this book called The Dyslexic Advantage. It's really cool. I'll put a link on the description. All right, the 4 strengths are, the first one is called material reasoning. Material reasoning is being able to hold an object, an image of an object, and then manipulate that object inside your brain, like designing a magazine or designing a building or an app or a car or a chair or something physical entirely inside your head, and then manipulating it, taking some things out, putting other things in, and to hold that image concretely as if it was real. That's material reasoning. The second type of strength is called interconnected reasoning. This means that you can take disparate things, objects, ideas, concepts, and put them together in such a way that hasn't been done before. So you're able to see the similarities and how certain things fit together, even though there seem to be no relation to it. In Silicon Valley or in startups, this type of thinking is called orthogonal thinking. It's the ability to look at something in a completely different way and then look at something else in a completely different way and put those 2 things together to create something that hasn't been done before. Personally, that's my greatest dyslexic strength out of all 4. All right, the third type of mind strength is called narrative reasoning. Now, this is the ability to conceptualize ideas in a story. It's the ability to create a story when there is just ideas. Now, the last type of mind strength is called dynamic reasoning. Now, dynamic reasoning is being able to look at a picture, look at lots of different facts and ideas, and create a prediction of an outcome that's going to happen as a result of all of these things interacting with each other. That is the last strength. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. I will be making another video on these 4 different mind strengths. I'm probably going to make 4 videos on these because each one of them is really interesting and there's a lot to it. Again, if you guys want to learn more about this and you don't want to wait for the videos, you can check out this book. It's called The Dyslexic Advantage. It was really cool reading it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If this is your first time here, I'd love for you guys to subscribe. If you like this video, you can hit the like button to support the channel and let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Thanks again. See you next time.